disturbing scene caught on video when a man in a wheelchair is assaulted in Crown Heights. Tonight, that victim is speaking out. And News 12's Rob Flax has this exclusive story.
Yeah, shocking video showing the moment that Troy Mcleod is attacked while simply taking his dogs for a walk.
Call 911! Call 911! How can you do that to a man in a wheelchair?
I was in panic and then I tried to get up, but lucky thing someone was there.
It felt like a vengeful vibe to me because for the extent of the situation, there was no need for it.
Troy Mcleod says he was taking his dogs for a walk on Lincoln Place when this man, identified as Levi Kabakov, appeared agitated and told Mcleod to take his dogs away from his children, something Mcleod says he did, adding his dogs were muzzled and not aggressive.
My dogs did not do anything to his children, and even when he was violating me, my dogs still didn't involve themselves to hurt him.
Police say the suspect continued to act aggressively, throwing a wooden block at Mcleod and striking him multiple times with a bench before pushing him out of his chair. Despite onlookers' attempts to stop him, he now faces 2 counts of second-degree assault. Mcleod says the attack has left him with chronic pain in his hands, which he needs to get around.
When he hit me with a big piece of bench, I had to block it twice. So that's why my hand was in pain.
He tells us he wants Kabakov to take responsibility and for people to know it is never okay to resort to violence.
If you have a problem with anything, call someone, take a time out. But you have no right to put your hands or violate anyone for no reason.
How can you do that to a man in a wheelchair?
In Crown Heights, Rob Flax, News 12, Brooklyn.
All right. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. All praises to the Most High. And the scripture talks about these men that you saw in those small hats. Those that say they are JEWSs, but are really of the synagogue of Satan. And I'm talking about those 2 white men that you saw on camera assaulting the handicapped man, Troy Mcleod, for merely walking his dogs down the street. Now, this happened in April the 17th, to be exact, 2025. So this is not an old story. This is a present day story of how these white people who call themselves something else are attacking the true people of Israel, shall I say. But this is amazing to me because they say 30-year-old Levi Kabakov, however you say his name is, he was charged with like misdemeanor assault or something. Now, mind you, he tried to hit this man with the whole bench. You saw the bench right there in the news clip, and then he hit him with a wooden block. That's a projectile. And also, he pushed the handicapped man out of his chair. Now, I don't know. There's supposed to be some sort of protection against things like this that happen amongst the handicapped. Isn't there supposed to be a very serious charge levied against people who do this to handicapped people? So why is this man, some would call him a small hat, not being charged to the fullest extent of the law? And his reasoning for doing so is the man was having his dogs close to his children. And the man said, look, when he said it, I moved my dogs away from his children, but also my dogs were muzzled. And even when the man violently attacked the brother, he said the dog still didn't react violently. And even you can hear people in the background saying, call 911, call 911. People are recording this man, and he still takes the time to do this, like with no fear of retribution, with no remorse, with no care for this man. That man was not a threat to him. As you know, Troy Mcleod said, it seemed sort of, a vengeful vibe, so maybe they were, mad because, our brother Troy Mcleod represents the true melanated people of God. We don't know, but, these people, and we would call them foreigners, and that goes for, the Arabs that own the corner store, the Koreans that, do the nails, the Chinese people who own the hair stores, and so on and so on and so on. These people come into our communities. I think that happened in Crown Heights, which I think that's in New York. But these people come in our communities, they open up shops. They take money out of our communities. We patronize them unequivocally. And, they treat us, basically like animals, like this man was treated. If you go into any corner store around the nation, if it's in a black neighborhood, you will see these people behind the walls with bulletproof glass. They want to hand you the merchandise through a little trap door. And so that's a major problem. That allows people to treat us like that when, first of all, we treat ourselves like that. But that's a whole nother video, and I hate to, get on that. But, with these people coming into, our communities and treating us like that, that's basically a slap in the face to us. But it's also a testament of us not knowing who we are, us not taking the lead, us not taking the stand, us not, exerting ourselves of, once again, the true people of God, the true Hebrews, the true Israelites, the true JEWSs, and that's, been proven biblically. I don't really like to go down that road because, people, really, they might not be ready or might not be able to understand who we are. But, if you study the Bible, if you study, the lineages, you study the demographics, you study the historical, the geographical parts of the Bible and history, then who are the people of God. So these people, like these gentlemen here that walk around with those names and those hats and they practice Judaism, that does not mean, once again, that they are the true people of God. Just like the scriptures have said, those who call themselves JEWSs, but really are of the synagogue of Satan. So, we see their actions. The scripture says you can tell a man by their fruit. By the fruit, you'll be able to tell a man. So these people, are actually, causing havoc all across the world. Now, I don't get into, the political thing or the Jewish Palestine thing, but from what I understand, they are, causing some damage over there in Palestine, and that's not the true state of Israel. That is there now. But that's a long story short. But I just wanted to show you guys that, because once again, it's another example of, black men, black women getting mistreated by, and I'm just going to say it, white people here in America. So y'all let me know what y'all think about this video in the comments. Once again, 919-587-7782. Peace and blessings.